Hey, thanks for joining me here. You're wondering how to capture leads for an event. Well, that's very important to be able to do that, because if you're at an event or you're speaking or you're part of a trade show, well, if you're not capturing the leads, then it's a waste of your time. So I'm going to give you some ideas as to how you can do that today. My name is Jason Hewlett. I'm a keynote speaker for the largest corporate events in the world and an award-winning entertainer. Thanks for joining me. So I don't know the exact numbers on this, but what do you guess would be the average rate of a successful speaker getting people to opt in and capture the information of the people in the audience? I've heard it's around 10 to 15% if you're awesome. Now, there's a guy named Russell Brunson who started ClickFunnels. In fact, they have an entire conference based around how to capture information. So if you want to check that out, that's a cool one. But today I'm going to give you some ideas and some tips as to how you can capture those leads at your events. So first of all, let's talk about trade shows if we can. We'll get to the part where you're on stage speaking in a moment, but if you're at a trade show, and let's say you're running the trade show booth, you can give away some candy or something where people will trade something for that giveaway. That's a very quick way to get things started, whether you're at a trade show or in kind of a networking space. You can also start engaging with conference attendees just by offering to give them something of a trade in value. So this can happen by just swapping business cards, and that may seem very basic, but even today, lots of people aren't even doing that anymore. And so having the opportunity to talk to somebody is really a great way to capture their info as well. And so if you're running trade show booths and that sort of thing, I probably have missed a few things that you probably know better than I. I've only run a couple trade show booths in my life, and it's a really interesting experience. And so if you want to engage in the comments with me, I'd appreciate it. I'd love to know your best technique for capturing leads at an event, especially in the trade show industry. So go put that in the comments. Now we're going to go into how to capture leads from the stage as a speaker. So number one, I want you to give away something from the stage to the whole audience that they're going to want. So it might be a PDF form of something you've said, or some speakers I've seen even say, hey, you guys don't need to take pictures of all these slides. I'm going to send them to you. And so then they'll show like a QR code or something that will create a landing page for them. And so then the people are able to opt into that system. It's a very effective way to do it as a speaker. One of my favorite speakers, his name is Jason Dorsey. He speaks on the different generations, like baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, all the different definitions of things. Now the people are sitting there thinking to themselves, I wonder what I am, and he gives them touches, but this is so cool what he did. He actually creates a web page for that event, and everybody in the audience, I've never seen anything like it in my life, because I was the next speaker. I was in the very back. I think there were 2,000 people there. He said, if you guys want a report about how to have better generational relationships between your employees, I've actually put together this huge report that will help you so much. Obviously, I'm just giving it to you. If you want to go to my website, take a picture of this. You should have seen every phone in the audience was up, and I was like, whoa. So when I said maybe 10 to 15% of speakers capture leads from an event, Jason Dorsey, I think he's like in the 90+% rate, because he's offering something they want so badly. It's an actual report that he's put together that will help them. It's a great way to do things and capture leads. The third way is a text-in service, and I've used this one for years. So you could show on the screen behind you a text-in number, and then like a little subject that they would have to type in. So for me, for years, it was a couple of numbers, and then it was JHE. That's all they had to type. If I had made them type out my full name, Jason Hewlett, they wouldn't even be able to do that. In fact, for years, I had made the mistake of having them type J. Hewlett. And even though it was on the screen, they misspelled it. So all we did was type in JHE after a while, and that really helped. Now, here's what's cool about that. Depending on your newsletter service, because you should be getting subscribers, you should be putting together a blog and sending out videos, those types of things already. If you're not, that's okay. But you need to determine whether you're going to be with MailChimp or Constant Contact. There's so many of those out there. Infusionsoft, you choose. But I've gone with Constant Contact. It's been great for me. Easy way to input people. People would just take a screenshot or they would hold up their phone as I showed a QR code. Oh, that's a slick one. But then we also did the text in service. That was really nice because then people would just text in and guess what would happen next? They would get a response to their text. Now it's a double opt-in. They would have to now sign in their email address. Now they're literally saying, I really want to be on your list. And so that is a real great confirmation. In other words, I get very little spam reports whenever I send out my newsletter because people did double opt-in, whether it was through the text and the email or through a QR code and a landing page. Double opt-ins are very important. So put together your text-in opportunity through your newsletter service. So I have a few more ideas as to how to capture leads for events, but before we do that, just give me a simple thumbs up and a like if you would. That would be so great. Help more people find this awesome video. Let's keep on going. So number 4 would be paper surveys on tables and seats. And now this may not seem as effective, but I've seen some people that do it really well. You see, they could have like a little piece of paper with maybe even on a card stock. There's a perforated edge there. So the audience member could write a question and write their email, and the speaker will say, hey, meet me in the back and give me that paper. So they'll keep the top part, they'll rip off the bottom and give it back to the speaker. That's collecting lead generation. It's a very interesting way and the way people have been doing it for years. And then number 5 is just doing a handout. Now, handouts are way ineffective compared to the electronic style. Like I said, my friend Jason Dorsey, people are holding up their phones, taking a picture of the screen to go to the website. A handout is almost archaic at this point, but it still works for a lot of people. People like to take the handouts from a convention or an event after they've heard a speaker, and they might put it in their binder, their backpack. They'll reference it again. Some people take a picture and leave it. Other people just let it fall to the ground. But a handout can be really cool because on the handout you can have all of your information, your social media info. That's not a way for you to capture their info, but rather that's a way for them to have your info in case later on they look you up because you're such a good speaker. They go, I want to follow that person forever. And then they will. So my question for you is, what have I missed? I mean, there's lots of ways for lead generation. I would love it if you'd put in the comments some of the things that maybe I didn't touch on, and that would be helpful for me and for the rest of the viewers of this video. I'll also engage with you. I'll respond and say thank you, and I appreciate you doing that. But I do have a couple more bonus tips, and so don't click away just yet. Here's bonus number 1. To capture leads at an event, the very best way, honestly, is bonus number 1. Stay after and meet people. I know that sounds old-fashioned, but let me tell you, when they meet you as a speaker, they're going to be like, I like that person. They take a selfie with you. They exchange information. They tell you the story about their cat that died. Whatever it is, you become friends. It's fascinating. I love connecting with the people after an event. I'll stay as often as I can, as long as I can. And that's a really, really the highest level of the best way to capture leads. But I have a few more bonuses for you. Do you want them? Okay, here we go. Bonus number 2, hand someone your phone. Seriously, hand it to the person you've just met and say, hey, put in your info. That sounds so simple, right? But it's a really real thing. I've said that to so many people. I'm like, hey, when they go, hey, we'd love to have you come speak at our event. And I go, oh, really? Here, put in your info. I just hand them my phone. They're like honored to touch your phone. They're like, oh, wow. It's a really simple way, but it's a fascinating thing when you hand somebody your phone. You take a little selfie together, but give them your phone. You'll see. And then bonus number 3 to lead capturing at an event is to just simply put together your own webinar, your own video, your own training, where you can then have people opt in to watch you do a webinar, something of value you're offering first. They're giving you their information back. That's really all this is about, is exchanging valuable information. So whether putting together a webinar, meeting them in the back after a speech, or all these other ideas, I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you'll subscribe because there's a lot more here on this channel talking about how you can be a great speaker. Thanks for joining me today.